Next little item in here. I want to add a card visual. In Power BI, you have card visuals with nice little sort of squares like this. So I go insert a shape, a little rectangle, okay, like this. Make it a bit wider maybe. Shape fill white, okay. Make the outline the same color as your data. So I'm going to make the outline gray, and everyone loves a bit of shadow. So, you know, Power BI, fancy shadow stuff. Let's add a bit of shadow. Okay, awesome. Right, so we're all good. So this is my card. I want to put in total units sold in there. So here's the trick. I go back to my units sold working, and I go equals in this little cell, and I go and click on my total units down here. And it's generated a get pivot data formula. Now you can turn that off if you want under pivot tables options, generate get pivot data. You can turn that off so you don't get that formula. And I do that a lot. But if you want the formula to be dynamic and always linked to the total, then actually using the built-in function is sensible. So there we go, 2088, click the comma, get rid of that. Okay, next sort of pro tip, name your cells, okay, name them. So this cell is going to be called units sold. I'm actually going to format it, get in the habit of doing this so I know it's a named cell. And I'll even add a new cell style called named range, something like that. So there's my cell format for named ranges. You can name this cell by copying that, clicking on the cell, going into that formula box in the top, pasting. However, a little shortcut is you highlight both these two, you do Control Shift F3. If you don't remember that, it's under formulas, create from selection. The little shortcut there says Control Shift F3. Okay, so Control Shift F3, use the top row, that's where the name is, click OK, and now this cell is named units sold total. And I can go to my dashboard, I can click in the equal sign while shape is selected, click the equals, start typing units sold total, there it is, press enter, and there's my linked value. And I'll just center that, middle, make it a bit bigger, okay, bold. And because it's coming off the pivot table, then when I do change these, yeah, everything changes, which is great, okay, which is awesome. So that's all linked up. Again, maybe make the font the same color just to associate the data. 3 colors is what you should be looking for when you're building a dashboard. 3 colors, try and keep it to 3 and maybe a little variation. Don't overwhelm people. Right, the last thing I want is that when somebody picks the name, or maybe picks 3 names, okay, because you can control click, I want all 3 names to show, but if they select all or select 4 names, I want to just to show the word multiple customers, okay? So here we go. We go back here. We're going to add a little list of customers. So first of all, we go insert pivot table, and it says use the workbooks data model, click OK. Go to my customer table, put my customer names in. So there's my full list of customer names. I'll get rid of the grand total, right click, remove. So there's my full list of customer names. Now I just want to get the first 3, okay? So I just want to pick up these 3 and display them a bit like this with a comma in between them, okay? But if somebody selects 4, so if there's something in this cell, I want it to say multiple items. So let's do a text join just to join those first 3. So equals text join using comma space. Okay, true is fine, ignore the empty. Highlight the first 3, press enter, and there we go. We've got our first 3. I'm just going to say, look, if there's something in that 4th cell, say multiple. So if Cottonworth's one doesn't equal, or if that does equal blank, sorry, if it equals blank, then, you know, do that formula because it's the top 3. Otherwise, just say multiple customers. Lovely. Okay, nice little dynamic. The DAX formula in Power BI to do that is horrendous, horrible. Okay, selected multiple items and all this sort of thing. Concatenate X. Oh, it's horrible. Okay, there we are. Excel, awesome. So what I'm going to do is, again, name this. So click on that little cell, named range, highlight both, Control Shift F3. Okay, Control Shift F3, top row. That cell is now called selected customers. And I can go to my dashboard. I can go here and say equals selected customers, press enter. And again, I've got a nice heading there. And if I click on it, it's not working. It's not working. Why not? This slicer is not linked to that customer pivot table. Look, I created a new pivot table from scratch. I didn't copy paste a pivot table. I started a new one. So my slicers are not linked. So what do? Really simple, really simple. Right click on a slicer. Halfway down is report connections. And then you click on it and your names of your pivot tables pop up. Another pro tip, name your pivot tables. All right, back in here, click on your pivot table analyze. Up in the top left-hand corner, call it something like customer list for the name of that pivot table. And then when you're in your dashboard and doing other things, right click, report connection again, and there's customer list. Yeah, I want to do that one. Click OK. And now this slicer changes. And if I do 2 items, it should do both. And if I do 3, it should do them. But if I do 4, it should say multiple customers. Okay, lovely. And hopefully this still links as well, yeah, to the actual data. Perfect. Okay, excellent. Right. Let me save just in case it goes horribly wrong. Always save your file. Okay, pro tip number, whatever that is. Okay, always save.